Welcome to Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Are you ready for an exciting conclusion to our Doctor Donna revisit? I don't really have a good name for it because I'm like, to me it makes sense, Doctor Donna. We're doing a Doctor Donna revisit. And honestly, if you're not familiar with it, you're probably not going to be too enticed by Doctor Who talk anyway. But I feel like that's weird and people aren't going to catch on to it. So I just don't know what to call this series of segments we've been doing for like 8 months. Anyway, yeah, we've been occasionally about once a month we've been revisiting the 10th Doctor and Donna Noble journey of Doctor Who.
Yeah. So basically season 4 and then her initial Christmas special.
Yep. And a couple expanded media things to kind of get us hyped for the 60th, which is coming up in just like a month. A month.
Yeah. And it's like every Saturday for a while. Like Doctor Who's back on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about shows that I'm not currently watching because I'm not subscribed to Disney Plus, but they'll get my money again. They got Doctor Who, they'll get my money again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we do need to get caught up on Loki. But before all that, before we conclude, before we reach Journey's End, hey, how are you two doing?
I'm good.
Doing well, yeah. I mean, Thursdays can get bent, but...
Yeah.
Right. They can.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah. I started my day with a crown and 2 fillings.
Oh.
So my mouth is
Yay.
awesome today, yeah.
Well, I'm all like, it was a bad day, just a bad mood today, blah, blah, blah. You didn't even say anything. You had literal dental work this morning.
Yep.
Wow.
And then I went to work. Yep.
Man. Well, Thursdays.
Yeah.
Right. People think, oh, Mondays. I don't know, man.
No.
Thursdays is starting to take the new crown for crappy weekday.
Oh, I see what you did there.
It was, no pun intended, quite literally. I did not think about it till you said it. Yeah. I'm clever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we get into so tonight we're going to be talking about Doctor Who, The Stolen Earth, and Journey's End. Going out on a couple of high notes. But before we jump into that proper, you guys been, first off, Halloween, if we were doing a Halloween episode this year, we're not, it would be this, because this is the last stream before Halloween. So, happy Halloween, everybody.
Hey, spooky season.
Happy All Hallows Eve.
Yeah. I've been feeling the Halloween spirit this year. That's okay. Not to dive straight into like Threads talk or anything, right? But horror. It took a little bit before I found it, or maybe it just like ramped up since it's the right season. But horror community, I found solid horror. There is a decent horror community on Threads. I'm happy about that. Still can't find a good like music production community, really, but there's a lot of people on there talking about horror movies. Like that's all they talk about. So that's a good time. I've been getting a lot of my Halloween spirit in over there.
Scratching the itch.
Yep.
Mine's been crafts. I've crafted Halloween things, and that makes me happy.
Yeah. Oh, we should have wore your hats.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Oh, you know what? They wouldn't even see your hat, so never mind. It doesn't matter. I do want to say some. I do want to issue, like, I guess, a correction or something. So last episode, I talked about I had watched a bunch of the Ring movies, right? I believe that was last episode because I watched like 4 of them in a week. And like the next day, if not later that night, I discovered the American releases, not the American remake, but the American releases are titled RINGU. But apparently, the U is, you just don't say the U. It's just Ring. Over there, the movie is Ring. And over here, it whatever translation weirdness. And I made the like stupid American, I apparently kind of insulting pronunciation of Ringu. Apparently that's like, I seen a comment somewhere on, here's the thing. I was kind of mortified because I seen a comment online somewhere of somebody saying, that's like saying hello. And I was like, well, then somebody needs to tell people because I didn't know.
Yeah, for real.
I didn't know.
Yeah, the stupid Americans are going to try to, they were hooked on phonics for years. They try to sound things out.
Right.
It was a whole thing. Like, they sold it to us as if phonics was going to save us all. It's crap. It doesn't help.
Right. So I was, for one, I struggle with foreign words that have pronunciations that I don't know, and I don't like sounding like that guy. And so then I just like, not a lot of people watch the stream, but I know I was talking about the Ring movies last week, and then to discover that that's like really not a cool way to pronounce it. I was like, oh no.
Right.
So,
it's equal parts apologetic and like frustrated, kind of angry,
and passing it along.
Like, well, then why defensive? A little defensive. Like, I'm not trying to do that.
And PSA, the Japanese Ring movies that are spelled over here, RINGU, it's just Ring. That's all you do. You just say Ring. So, the more you know. Why don't I have a graphic for that? The more you know. That's
the knowing is the battle. Half of it.
Yeah. I did make a graphic at one point because you did like and now you know more or something like that thing.
Something like that.
I need to find that.
Oh yeah, that was even going to be like potentially a Patreon bonus or something.
Right.
Yeah.
There were so many things that someday.
Everything. Yeah.
Someday maybe we'll get that Swamp Thing commentary track. Commentary track is something we've like only ever visited once, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Someday.
Well,
we should do it again.
The funny thing is, it's like we have that as one of the goals. I feel like goals have all but died on Patreon. If you're the
I think they have
follower of anything Patreon, it's like they've either buried that thing so deep that you can't find it anymore, or it's just gone.
I think it actually is legitimately gone. I think the platform itself did away with it. I'm going to log in real quick just to see, because I've been so like, well, I'm not going to worry about it right now. Inattentive, I guess, to our Patreon, that like I get emails from Patreon all the time about like platform updates and stuff, and they're doing cool stuff, but I'm just like, cool. I ain't got time for that. I'm not worried about it right now.
Right.
But, yeah. Patreon.com/Grawlix podcast.
You just sold it. It sells itself, ladies and gentlemen.
I ain't got time for that. Maybe you do, though. And a couple bucks.
Maybe you do. Yeah.
Hey, you guys been watching anything interesting, exciting lately since last week? Anything you want to talk about?
Only thing I've watched is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Oh, you're still on like is that
was
the
the
most
thing.
recent?
That's the new one. It just dropped
Okay.
digitally. So yeah, we watched it, and hold on to your horse britches, because Ethan Hunt hangs from the top of a train. Is that that's surprising, right? Isn't that surprising?
Cool.
Who's Ethan?
Yeah.
He's been doing that
He's
since
the
the
main
first
character.
movie, man.
Yeah.
Like, he always
I
winds
feel
up
like
on
that's-
top of a train somehow.
I feel like that's kind of a like a step backwards.
Yeah.
But
He did crash into the side of the train, so that was like cool. But like he winds up on top of the train somehow. I'm like, we've done this. You know? He did that in the first
Right.
movie. Come on.
Yeah, you need people like jumping out of an airplane and then parachuting to another airplane and then taking that to a boat somewhere before we're being impressed.
Yeah. And maybe like almost dying.
And I wanna see Tom Cruise do it.
impossible. Yeah.
right.
Well, I think that's how I feel. Is like, okay, we get it. You do a lot of your own stunts. So what? Now you're just going to do the stunts you already know how to do.
Right.
He's like, he walks in and
Right.
he's like, I'm going to hang off of a train today. Again,
Yeah.
I know how to do that.
It's because
I'm
he's
gonna
scared
get
to jump,
into,
he'll break his foot again.
Yeah. I'm going to get into one of those big fighter jets again. I'm going to do that one again.
What was the movie where they actually had a guy get out of a plane and try to like rappel back to another plane? The stunt guy actually did it, not the actor. But...
Oh, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, they were talking about it a while back on Corridor Crew. I can't remember what it was. But like basically send whatever. It's what she said. I can't remember enough about it to make it.
That's
contribute,
crazy.
but-
And they live to tell the tale.
Yeah, but they didn't get the shot they wanted, but they got. I mean, he got from one plane to the other. That's good enough.
I feel like
They were
that's a
he was-
world record right there.
Well, it is. Yeah.
You
They were
know?
like he was whipping around, and we were like, if we do this anymore, he might end up in an engine. Let's just take what we got.
Right. Okay. Anything? Recommend Mission Impossible? Deadly Premonition, whatever it was called.
Dead Reckoning, yeah. I mean, like,
Okay.
I suppose
The-
if you're
the
just
New
a
Blood?
completist, if you're a completionist and you've got to see this one because you saw them all, I think, like, these two are the last two. So, yeah.
Sure they are.
It's that's true, yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's not any weirder or over the top as any others, but like I only gave it 3 stars. And I mean, I suppose that's pretty accurate for most of the Mission Impossible movies, but some of them are better than
Sure.
others. So,
Sure. Yeah, I've generally only heard good things about. I don't think I've seen one since Mission Impossible 2. That might have been the last one. If
that
I've
would
seen
kill
that.
it. Mission Impossible 2 is so bad. So like, John Woo, come on. Limp Bizkit, come on.
Oh, that is the one. That is
Yeah.
the one. Whew.
Yeah, it was a time. It was a whole time, guys.
It was. Yeah. If you weren't old enough to remember, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
You're probably lucky. Except for only living in a post 9/11 world. But hey, whatever. That's your life.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Well, Melanie and I binged through the Fall of the House of Usher. We might have actually mentioned that last week. I don't recall. But we
I think
actually
so.
finished it. And I liked it a lot. I think I said last week that it seems like maybe my favorite of his series, and I still stand by that. I enjoyed it quite a bit. For me, it's maybe a toss-up between that and... What was the first one? House on Haunted Hill? Or Haunting of Hill House. I always do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Haunting of Hill House.
It's kind of a toss-up between those two, but I liked this one a lot. I thought it was solid.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Whatever. He's good. He's good, and I did say this last week, didn't I? Jeez. I got nothing new to say. Melanie, you been watching anything interesting?
Not that I can think of besides, that and Venture Brothers. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. we're so exciting. We did
I've been
watch the
keeping
first
up with
episode.
Loki, but also
Right.
we'll probably hit that when you guys get caught up. So
Right. Yeah, I suspect next month we'll be talking about a bunch of Loki.
Yeah, we gotta go
we-
find some pirates.
We did catch the first episode of the new season of Chucky.
Oh yeah.
speaking of pirates, have you guys cracked into Our Flag Means Death yet?
No, not yet.
No, not
that's
yet.
that's another one. That's another one in the queue. It's in line.
So you're gonna have to find some pirates.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're out by the waters, you know.
I see what you're saying. Well, that one I don't have to. We have Max right now. I mean,
Okay.
I would never.
I mean, Our Flag Means Death, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So
You know what?
Yep.
I might have to pirate it, even though I have Max. How about that? Like it's a pirate show.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I mean, it does seem like just and right to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I did want to say the only thing about Chucky real quick, other than like, oh, Chucky's in the White House. This show's so ridiculous. Two things. One, we've talked about Chucky, the franchise off and on the show quite a bit. And one thing, especially like, it's like the opposite of every other franchise. The longer it goes, the more cohesive it is. Because they kind of like really they like to bring back previous actors who were like the actual actors, from movies from the 80s. Like they'll pull them in and just like, so it's one of the
And Jennifer
rare
Tilly needs a job.
Right. Oh, I haven't. She was not in the first episode, but I know she pops up at some point. The last season was crazy. Speaking about Jennifer Tilly, I think it was the last season where, whatever. They bring in her real life sister, and like, it was just wild. But anyway, point is, I was amused watching this episode because it's one of the few shows where it's like very consistent. They very rarely, if they don't have to, recast, and then they'll cast the family members of the people that are already cast members. Like, yeah, it's super like interestingly cohesive that way, except for Devon Sawa is like the one character. He dies every season. And then next season, he shows up as a different character. In fact, the first season, he was two different characters. So, like, he's the one person, the one actor who keeps showing up as just completely different characters every season. And it just struck me as funny when, like, it's a show where they're pulling the actors from Child's Play 3, 2?
Oh, yeah.
Andy from 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think it was 1 and 2. Has been a big part of it.
Was it? He's the same guy that did 3 also, or did they recast Andy for 3?
I can't remember.
I thought Andy was always Andy.
I think he got recast for one of them.
Oh, okay.
Was 3 where he was in the military school or
Military,
whatever?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
think
you're right.
I think he was recast in that one.
He was.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he
jumped
cut his
from-
hair, so you can't recognize him.
Right.
Yeah, and he jumped from 8 to like 13 or something.
Oh, right,
in a
yeah.
year.
Right. Yeah, maybe the real life Andy just wasn't old enough at that point. The real life Andy, because that's his name in real life. I don't know.
Poor guy. He just has toys just go crazy on him, Toy Story, Child's Play, all these Andys,
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
Andys just have a hard time with toys. That's just the way it is. It's the way of the world.
That's the crossover I want to see.
Right?
Chucky and Toy Story. You know what? If Toy Story, I don't know if they'd touch a Disney thing, but if Toy Story was like relevant right now, I bet they would at least riff on it in the show at some point, because Chucky is very much
think
that
so.
kind of show.
Like a kid tries to write Andy on his foot.
Right.
That doesn't end well.
I don't know what's going on with the viewers. It's jumping between. Oh, hey, viewer! Like between 0 and 5. It's just kind of jumping all over the place. I don't really know what's going on with it. Unless we have anything else to talk about, we might as well jump into the main topic at hand.
Ooh, the topic at hand. Hand.
Do it.
Love this hand.
Okay. Do I play the horrible bitrate degraded intro video?
Got to.
I kinda have
You
to,
worked
don't
so
I?
hard on it. Yeah.
Oh, it looks so nice too. Well, it's not going to. It's going to look terrible, but the original video file looks really nice. All right, especially since this is our last one. Here we go. We're switching over. Switching over. Oh boy, it's the Grawlix. Wait, I need to do this proper. Welcome to the Grawlix podcast. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
That's right, we're doing it again.
And in the future, if you just have a hand lying around, you could not only like regenerate, but then you could also regenerate, and cause the death of your best friend by accident.
Right. One will die. In the future. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing. I hate this segment. There's a reason we don't do Grawlix podcast future predictions anymore.
There's a reason we don't number these.
Yeah.
I got one.
In the
One
future,
will die.
In the future, everyone will have particle accelerator bracelets.
we'll have what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Particle accelerator bracelets.
We ain't
Right.
trading no ghosts.
Hey, okay, so yes, here's if you're watching live, we're gonna talk about this. Yeah, we just transitioned into the Grawlix podcast. I don't think I even have proper branding for Grawlix podcast. Oh well,
I don't think we've ever done it live, so there we go.
right. Not often enough for me to make up new branding. Okay, yes, we're gonna talk about the journey's come to an end. We're gonna talk about the Stolen Earth and Journey's End, which means no more revisiting Doctor Donna, but it also means the 60th anniversary, the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials are very near.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's just dive into it. I mean, we're gonna.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm so baffled by like, we're like, or at least I was like, this is like the best season. This is the best season of New Who. The writing's so good. This is very inconsistent season. It goes from some like amazing episodes to I don't know, man, like everything.
Stolen Earths. You know how sometimes we would rag on the Flash for, if he like actually try to save somebody, they would die from like, or Spider-Man too. You know, the impact and the
science
so
of it. Yeah.
You know what happens when you move a planet from its trajectory? You know what happened to the people on that planet? Well, Doctor Who doesn't. So
You're right.
So, what's a good... All right, well, just a quick rundown. So, whatever, here's the plot. The Earth is teleported, in case you forgot, the Earth is teleported out of its spatial location. I'm reading this from Wikipedia, by the way. In order to find the Earth, the Doctor contacts the Shadow Proclamation. Is this the first time we get to see the Shadow Proclamation?
Didn't he go to them once before? Or maybe this is the first time that he actually goes there. Like, I think he had like, he brought them up 100 times, and then even Donna in this one is like, what even is it? And he's like, we're going there.
Yeah. It's not at all disappointing that it's just poodle ladies. Not at all.
Right. And we'll never see those ladies again.
I was like, wait. So it's just poodle ladies? Weird. They determined that 27 missing planets, including Earth and others, have been lost. Oh, this is going into too much detail. I don't want to go into all that detail because honestly, that's not like the main beef, substance of the episode. The main substance is just pulling in everyone who happens to be tied to Doctor Who at that time. Every spin-off show character, because at that time Sarah Jane Adventures and Torchwood was going on.
Right.
We're going to pull all of them in there. Rose is running around because you got to have Rose, and
You got to bring Jackie back. If you got Rose, you got Jackie, and if you got Jackie, you got
Jackie.
Mickey.
oh god, that clinging on like a, I don't know, it's a bad penny. He's a bad penny. Captain Jack, the Torchwood crew, but only like off in their set. They don't get to actually come play with. That's the second episode anyway. I found this episode so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous because it's so much just melodrama and rapidly, like, from one group to another. I don't know. It's just that whole thing, like Avengers Assemble or what?
The worst. Sarah Jane. Let me grab my purse. I gotta go find the doctor. What are you gonna do? Drive around town and hope you see a TARDIS? That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Make sure I have my car keys so I can go drive around looking for the doctor.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. For me, like, the melodrama of when the Daleks show up, right? Like, perfect example is we're at Torchwood, and Jack's there like, it's over. We're dead. Just because, like, Daleks showed up. And, like, everybody has that same reaction. Like, everyone's horrified. And it's just like, no. We're well past Dalek, okay?
Yeah.
You don't get to use Daleks to inspire that kind of fear. And I don't buy that Jack or any of them is going to be writing their wills because the Dalek showed up. I thought that was so cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my initial impressions.
Grandpa had it.
It was. We had kind of talked about that.
Right. He was like, sorry.
No, you're good.
No, it's okay. Melanie, you're on, like, a significant delay for whatever reason. I hear you over there like 3 seconds before you come through here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. I'm just saying. I'm just explaining to you guys if that's the whole source of the awkwardness. No.
I think I lost my point, actually. We're good at this.
I mean, you'd think we'd been doing this for 9, 8,
something like that.
9 years. It's coming up. We've been doing it for like 9 years. I know a year ago I was like 13 years. I was wrong.
Well, we had even talked about this specific bit last week before the show, where it's like, it's the score creep of the Daleks, to the point where the Daleks were legitimately creepy, and you could be scared of one Dalek, and then they just got so out of whack that then and it just continues. It even continues into Stephen Moffat's era, where it's like, okay, now we've got a full empire of Daleks, and so that's not scary enough. So we've got to bring in, the creator of the Daleks, and then we've got to bring in, a planet of Daleks and crazy Daleks and all that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and score creep, scope creep, like within RTD. RTD was real bad about it because, I don't remember what it was, but it was the world, of course, then the universe, and this is my favorite example of like just going to the max. What else could be at stake? The universe. How about all universes? But that's not enough. It can't just be all universes. It's reality itself. And I know that's kind of jumping into the next episode, but my favorite thing about this, we're going to be a little bit all over the place because these are very much a two-parter. Like, it's hard to kind of separate them. other than to talk about that just unabashed, like, clickbait cliffhanger, horrible. Like, the cliffhanger between this, terrible. But my favorite thing, I think, was just how unhinged Davros is.
Yes, yeah.
When he's talking about the reality bomb. And they have a thing called the reality bomb, so...
Yeah, which I think is like just really aggressive tarot, or not tarot, astrology. Really aggressive astrology. That's what I feel like it is.
We created our own constellation of doom.
Yep.
Or a solar
Like, we
system
like
of
all
doom.
these planets. Reality bomb. Got to get
Reality
the
bomb,
horses
yeah.
and the Geminis together. No.
Yep, and just get them all aligned with their moon and their sun
Yep.
chakras and everything, and
And then reality bomb.
it's just never dead. Well, reality's dead. Yeah, it's really
Also, sorry, I was just... Who's the one lady? Because they even had to pull in, like, previous characters that just happened to be in a couple episodes, like 2 or 3 episodes. The lady that played the prime minister for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What was her name? Something. And it was this whole thing. She looks so tired.
Yeah,
She has
yeah,
to go
that
out with
character.
a bang. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they had to do the thing. We know. Everybody knew. Even the Daleks were like, "We know who you are."
Right. I mean, at least have some fun with it. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like, if there's one thing I can say in defense of this kind of RTD era stuff, is that he is unabashedly okay with taking risks if he thinks it's just going to be wackadoo bonkers fun. And I think he's having wackadoo bonkers fun, but sometimes it works so well and it gets you so hyped up, and other times it just feels like, ugh, this episode, I can see myself getting excited about it in hindsight, like in the past, I probably was like, "Oh my goodness, look at all Sarah Jane is back." It's got all of that, there's plenty to get excited about, especially if you're like a classic Whovian, or if you were just really into the early New Who stuff. It's like, oh, everybody's here. No way, Torchwood.
I think they even brought up that one chick living, if she had ancestors in Cardiff or something.
Yes. Yeah.
Right,
The
yeah.
fact that they did that episode with her. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I get it. Like, because RTD was all about, like, spin-offs and creating, like, an expanded universe, but not, like, an expanded universe, but basically a cinematic universe, a TV expanded universe for Doctor Who, which I kind of expect we will see more of that. But so this is very much the crossover, the team up, the whatever, like, get excited. But I think, and you're right. Watching it the first time, other than the stuff that's going to be an eye roll moment every time, I'm sure it was very exciting. I remember being very excited when Rose would randomly pop up in throughout this season when we first watched it. In fact, I remember Melanie not being excited. I turned to Melanie and be like, oh, what's she doing here? She gets so annoyed with me. Anyway,
She was kind of annoying in this. She's just like,
yeah.
she can't communicate with anyone to let anyone know that she's here until she finds the Doctor, and they have that moment. And it's like, oh my gosh, why don't you tell her yourself?
Oh, she gets pouty, and like,
Yeah.
when
What
she
was
can
her
see them
first?
all on the Subwave network, like, broadcast, except they can't see her, and I'm here. That's a perfect example. Tell her yourself. And then, like, they're running to each other, and then a Dalek comes out and shoots the Doctor. I'm like, of course,
Yeah,
because
of course.
how can I think the writing like session for this was like, okay, what's the scene? Now, how can we make it more melodramatic and ridiculous? And that, I feel like that's every scene in this episode. I mean, it's just fun. I get it. Like, it's just fun. It's not bad. It's just knowing ahead of time what it is and then rewatching it. It just seems so forced. Like, everything they're trying to convey, how scared everybody is of the Daleks, and like, oh, it's this person. It just feels very forced and cheesy, and it doesn't work. And it's so fascinating going from turn left, where I thought like that's a great episode. It's well constructed. It is melodramatic, but it kind of earns, in my opinion, it earns the melodrama. And it also is another issue of tying together a whole bunch of, not characters, but a whole bunch of threads and storylines from beyond this current season into, like during Martha's run, and just tying into events of that. Just kind of a similar thing of just pulling all this stuff that RTD's established in recent like Doctor Who history into a story, but handled so much better than this episode. These pair of episodes where I know they just poured a ton of money into it, and the writing is not good, and there's no subtlety.
Well, and one of the things though, like, okay, like trying to find good things to say about this. I think what's interesting about this is that like individually, RTD created some really interesting and compelling characters. And I would argue that Donna Noble is maybe one of the most compelling and interesting characters that he created in his run, because for me, she's such a fleshed out character that was so perfectly designed for Catherine Tate that she almost lives wholly on her own, and feels almost, for me, she feels like the Sarah Jane of the 10th Doctor's run, because Sarah Jane was just the Doctor's pal. She would banter with the third Doctor, and then she was just kind of like the fourth Doctor's pal in an iconic sense, and everybody tends to remember her, even though the fourth Doctor had so many iconic companions. But Sarah Jane, for whatever reason, still gets an awful lot of love as maybe one of the top companions, at least for 4. And then Dr. Donna, same kind of deal. And it's funny because they keep that going to the point where even where Jack, he's so pansexual that he's interested in anyone and everyone, and it's like she's the only one that doesn't, he's nonplussed by her, and also she's nonplussed by the Doctor, and I think that's kind of part of her charm, is that she's never been infatuated with the Doctor in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they have a really good chemistry that works outside of that, whereas Rose and kind of Martha fell into just, that's their thing, right? It's either a deeper, a more I guess, what would you call it?
A romantic entanglement, almost.
A more romantic relationship with the Doctor. Even in Martha's case, where it's not returned, but that's still kind of her thing. And Donna doesn't have that. They are just pals.
Even when,
but they have
even when
really
she
good...
has to forget everything, she's just not interested in the Doctor. He's just there. She's just well, whatever. And she is generally flirty with just about everyone, except for the Doctor. It's the opposite of Captain Jack.
Right.
Yep.
She was kind of literally throwing herself at Captain Jack. So, and he was, you're right. She's the one person he's just oh, not interested.
And I don't know if that's good writing or super lazy and just comedic writing, but it was interesting, at least.
I don't know if it's worse for someone to be alone when the Doctor is dying, or not really dying, but regenerating, or to have people there, because it seems like instead of being like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, everybody's like, oh no, it's happening, and she's like, what's happening? Like, come on, guys, help her
Yeah.
out.
There's so much unnecessary taunting of Donna in this episode specifically, and not like making fun of her, but there's multiple times where people are like, oh, like one of the poodle ladies was like, I'm sorry. And she's like, oh, that's fine. She's like, no, for what's about to happen. And then she leaves. It's like, oh, thanks. Thanks, poodle lady. That's real helpful.
And someone else is like, you had something on your back. Like, yeah, that was last episode. Knock it off. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Right. Yeah, no, it's gone. Why you don't get to see that? And then you're right. The Doctor starts regenerating, and she keeps like, "What's happening? What's going on?" And yeah, no, everybody's just like, "It's happening. Stand back," and not telling her like, "Calm down. It's okay. He's not gonna die." Would have been nice. And instead, she's panicking and freaking out.
Well, and Rose doesn't really like acknowledge Donna all that much, except for like in the Turn Left episode, she acknowledges her a
Right.
lot. But like in this episode, she doesn't really acknowledge her all that much until she's like, except everything seems to be converging on you for some reason, Donna. Who I clearly still know from that weird one-off episode.
Yeah.
She should. Yeah, I mean, I think that's especially something like this. Part of the fun of bringing previous characters or spin-off characters in, I guess it's more than the spin-off characters, is just previous characters, including Sarah Jane, and it's what they excelled at when they kind of like launched the Sarah Jane spin-off. They had her like come back for a Doctor Who episode where she met Rose and all that. And their like banter between the former companion and the current companion is part of what makes that fun. And like anytime Captain Jack shows up, it's whoever's around now getting barraged by Captain Jack, and like that's what makes it fun. And I feel like everybody was too segmented off on their own for the most part. And I'm sure it was partially, I don't know, shooting schedules and stuff like that. And also just kind of pushing it along as fast as possible. But man, I would have liked more banter between the various people. Yeah, Rose and Donna should have had like some kind of moment.
All of them. I'm like, who does banter better than Donna Noble? And she didn't get a chance to.
Did she even really react to or get to talk to Sarah Jane at all?
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Or Jackie. Or, I mean, like, oh man, her and Jackie, that could have been hilarious.
They'd be friends. They'd be like
Yeah,
best
really.
friends. Or they'd hate each other, I guess.
Right,
Would be the other way it would
exactly.
go. But they are similar people.
I think they'd be friends, and then they just talk smack about each other when they weren't there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows those ladies. Yeah, I think it's just there's too much. I think it was just like trying to ramp everything up. Got to make it huge. It's this
Not the Osterhagens, whatever. What even is an Osterhagens? Well, clearly it was somebody named Osterhagens, but what?
And what was that whole thing? And I get what they were leading to. Like there's a lot of good ideas in this, but like they're like, people loved it when Martha was trekking across the globe in the Dobby Doctor season finale.
Right.
So we got to have her trek into Germany and do clandestine meetings and stuff. Like it's
The
weird
German
that's
Daleks.
yeah, it's weird that's like a Martha thing. I'm guessing. I don't know. It's strange. I thought that was amusing though. Yeah, just cramming a bunch of stuff in. So the Doctor is regenerating. We're gonna get a new Doctor because the episode's over now. Gotta wait till next week to see the new Doctor. Then next week comes and it's a fake out.
Yeah.
It's such a fake out. And that stuff, I don't know that it necessarily. I feel like the first time I watched it, like we knew the score, we knew going on, like because we weren't. I don't think we were up to current at that point.
Right.
But I
Man,
feel like that'd
watching
be
it
so
live,
frustrating.
That would be, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to, are they? They are. And then it's like just a total red herring.
Yeah. All the Meta Crisis Doctor stuff
Right.
is kind of some nonsense. It's kind of, I mean, the regenerations always are. I feel like they've, you know, Matt Smith had his whole, like, whatever, and then 13 basically took 5 episodes to finally regenerate, you know. Or,
Yeah,
no,
remember the good old
after
days when you just
12.
shoot them and you shoot them and they lay down and then they wake up somebody else, you know?
Yeah. Or they'd fall off of a tower, and then
That's
a strange clay man would come, and he'd be like, "The moment has been prepared for."
Right. Or he'd just leave with the companion and be like, carrot juice, and then you get a new Doctor next season.
Yeah.
You know.
Carrot juice. We're gonna get her. She's coming back. I can't wait.
Right.
She'll actually. I mean, like, I actually am looking forward to that. But yeah.
I always got the impression she was. I didn't mind her, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like. I mean, she's not like one of my favorite companions, but I thought she was okay, and I feel like she is generally not a well liked companion, but I could be wrong.
Well, I think she got stuck with the baggage and the dirty laundry of the fallout of 6 and the way that was handled.
What was her? She was Mel,
Yeah, Mel.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. It was you, Melanie.
Bonnie Langford. Mel.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
She kind of just disappeared once Ace showed on the scene. That was the episode where she kind of disappeared.
I remember Ace.
Was
Ace
a
was
dragon
cool.
something. Ace, yeah. She was the proper companion for 7, but they tried with Mel for a while.
You know who I really miss? Who was that one? She was also a Time Lord that used to run around with him all the time, and she would
Lala
sometimes
Ward,
change her face.
Romana.
Yeah, they need
Yeah.
to bring her back.
Yeah, they do. And like, there's no reason not to, really, at this point.
It's weird. I mean, other than at this point for sure. I get for several years of like there are no Time Lords. I'm the last of the Time Lords because I believe this is still well within that time frame. I guess that persisted until the whole till the 50th, right?
No, Rassilon, remember?
You're right.
Rassilon
Which isn't
came
just
back.
a couple specials from where we're at here. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of burned that concept when they brought back the Master and Rassilon.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, who's next? The Rani? And Romana makes a lot of sense, because she was legit president during the Time War at one point, I thought. And then Rassilon exerted his control.
The Ronnie's such a fun name.
Yeah, right.
Because what is a Ronnie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, she's the one of those.
Right.
I don't really know what else to say. There's a lot that happens in the second episode. I kind of feel like the second episode's a little bit better, but again, that's partially because Davros is so unhinged. I love I should know who was playing him, but off the top of my head, I don't. I love the performance. It's so over the top, but it's so
Right.
fitting given where he's talking about the reality bomb, like how ridiculously over the top the whole plot is.
Is it Dalek Khan?
Right.
The one that
right.
saw into the eye of the TARDIS or the eye of the whatever and has gone and unhinged. It's like I both love that idea and it's so annoying.
Yeah. I like setting up basically, destroying the Doctor emotionally, but setting up that like you've taken these people and you've just made them all into soldiers. And yeah, we had to Haagen-Dazs,
the
Haagen-Dazs key,
Osterhagens. Yeah.
we had to do a bunch of legwork for that. Random necklace Sarah Jane has, like, they had to set some stuff up, but I do like the culmination of, like, basically all his companions are like, okay, we each have a thing that will destroy the entire Earth.
Right.
Back off. And the Doctor's like, oh, crap. It's the whole idea of them becoming soldiers, and he hates that. But also, like, I don't know, they were just doing,
Defending themselves?
They were just trying to be heroes.
yeah.
We could be heroes just for one day.
Because, like, what
Yeah,
would the Doctor... Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what was he gonna do if the other him didn't kill all the Daleks? What would have happened then?
Right.
Oh, his plan... What even was his plan? He's like, oh, I'll show up there, and then he, like, just strolls out and then gets captured. He had no plan.
Yeah.
And they were just... They needed leverage. They had leverage, and they put the Daleks in an impossible situation. They did good. Mm-hmm. So part of me, I really appreciate the whole point. They were driving home with the Doctor and whatever, and especially like as anti soldier as he gets over Moffat's era, right? But also it's kind of like, suck it up, Doctor. Like, they're saving you right now. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Ace was here, she'd blow him up too. And you'd
Right.
be like, Nitro 9, Ace.
Yeah. Yeah. I find Dr. Donna a little insufferable. Like, I appreciate it. But Donna's, even though she's one of my favorite modern companions, she's a bit much. And Dr. Donna is just Donna on crack.
As is Mind Wiped Donna, to be fair. Like,
That's
Mind
true.
Wiped Donna on the phone is like, oh, couldn't track that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I love this season, but it is so hit and miss. Really. Like, it's just the highs, I feel like, are so... Yeah.
Did you forget this convoluted bit, too? They weren't just taking planets out of space. They were taking planets out of time. It was like that. All these, like, really bizarre Easter eggs. Those, like, they were so clever. The adipose home world. Out of time.
Yeah, and they drop that as dialogue. There's a lot of, like, tell, don't show. We don't got time to show. There's a lot of tell, don't show. But they drop that as... And it give it, like, half a second to, like, be a dramatic moment that they're taking it from time. And it's like, who cares? They're taking it doesn't matter what time they're taking him from all these. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's like taking a step back and trying to act like it's... No. You got 27 planets in some other random place in their own, like, orbit thing going on.
Yeah, space is enough. Time doesn't really make a difference once the space is different.
But also, to Melanie's point earlier, like, can you imagine reintroducing a planet that hasn't been there for 100 years back into the solar system?
Yeah. Everything be out of whack.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother me so much the whole moving the planet thing if it didn't have everybody being like, "Whoa!" like it was an earthquake. If you can feel that, then you would be able to feel way more, and
Yeah.
you'd be dead, basically.
No, that's a good
true.
point, because if they
Yeah.
just did like some hand wavy, like the Daleks had this machine that stabilizes, gravity and the tidal wave. It's just magic. Like they can move the planet and it doesn't destroy everything. And the planet doesn't freeze because it's too far from the sun and whatever else. Like, but they didn't do that. They're just like, no. We're just not going to worry about physics or any kind of reality at all. That's just like, it's not even science fiction at that point. That's just straight up fantasy.
Yeah.
But you're right, and Melanie was going crazy at the end when they're towing the planet, towing Earth back, and it's shaking, and people are like, whatever, are like falling over. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be like, no, all the water would slosh to one side of the planet, and you'd all be dead. Come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't really have anything else to say about either of those. As I was kind of saying earlier, it's amazing, like kind of how hit or miss this is, even though it's one of my favorite seasons of New Who, just because like there's some super high highs in it. Do I have a list of? Hold on here. Let me search up the list of episodes. There's some super high highs and some super low lows.
I will say the mind wipe of Donna Noble is one of the most heartbreaking ways to send out a companion.
Oh yeah.
And she, like, at the same time that like the mind wipe is over the top and like annoying in her, just like doing the whole phone call thing, like that's her shtick, is how she's so over the top with her girlfriends. But like, what's the line? The line, "I was gonna be with you forever." Like that just tears your heart out,
Right. Yeah, that's something I forgot. I was gonna say because the ongoing thing, at least for me with this season, is like the perpetual torture of Donna, the emotional torture, emotional abuse of Donna, and the first episode, the first part of this two-parter, even though nothing's really happening to her yet, they're still giving her these moments of like, where she's just like spacing out and there's heartbeat and like, she's just clearly, there's not necessarily a reason for it, but she's clearly like in a somewhere, like having a moment. And then the whole like mind wipe thing, she's pretty upset.
Well, then you get Wilf, and he's like, "But you were she was better with you." It's just like, oh God, God, Wilf, don't do it to us. You're everybody's grandpa.
And it would suck just being his companion anyway, and then not being with him anymore. That sucks for all of the companions. But imagine you like basically were like the Doctor. She wouldn't even have needed him, if she could have survived it or whatever. She could have just gone and adventured on her own, That would be extra hard. It's super hard, I would imagine.
What's the deal with the Metacrisis Doctor though? Like, how is it that he can handle it? Because he's human. That's like the whole selling point to Rose. Like, no, it's okay.
Right.
He's human.
Right.
Like,
We're
but
not.
His brain would burn up too. Like, he knows all of it.
We're you're right. He's fine. We're not doing logic. We're not doing logic. here.
Clearly not.
He's still got the brain of a whatever they're called. He
The
just has
brain of
heart
a Time Lord.
human.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
He's got the hand of a Time Lord. That's all he's got.
Love this hand.
Uh,
And what a way to get rid of the hand, man! Like, he could just regenerate forever as long as he keeps that hand. Like, no, we got to turn that hand into another person.
Also, he's like, maybe it's the human in him. He's basically the doctor, but kind of seedier. There's something about him. The fact that he's fine with genociding the Daleks. The other doctor's so upset about it, and he's just like,
what? He's just like, what?
I saved
know all
everybody.
the things he knows, and that's the other thing. Is like he knows all the things I know, but he's doing it wrong.
Right. So the first time around, and maybe even the second time around, I was okay with the meta-crisis doctor because I was like, whatever. They're giving Rose, like, they're trying to finally give her a, like, truly happy send-off, like, into the sunset. She's with the doctor, but not. This time, it kind of bugs me. It's kind of some crap. Like, it really is. It doesn't, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
It's very stupid because she was fine. Just leave her in the other. Excuse me. Just leave her in the other universe. You know, that's enough. Stop bringing her in and cutting the wound back open. Jeez. And then give her a fake doctor like she's supposed to be happy with that.
Would a rose by any other name smell as sweet?
It did strike me as super odd, like when she's like, but he's not you. You know, I know he's like a clone of him, but he also kind of isn't him though. And that is a little weird. He's like, no, it's fine. It's a clone. He's exactly like me except human. Also, he genocided the Daleks. And that's unforgivable. But he's totally
strange
me.
about him. Yeah. But look,
Right.
look, I can't have him hanging around me. So he's yours, Rose. He's all yours.
He's your problem now.
I think
also,
that's
you
why
have
I
to
like
go back to the.
What was it? The one comic where they make that Metacrisis Doctor the Valyard, basically, or whatever.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
That's what they should do. Yeah. That makes sense. Like this doctor decides, oh, I don't want to die a human. I want my regenerations back. And yeah. And I'm kind of crazy because I'm half human.
That'd be good. I mean, they kind of established it. Yeah, sure. They kind of established it. He's willing to do something the doctor wouldn't do. He's willing to be ruthless. Here we go. 60th specials. 14, because Tennant is 14th. 10 shows back up,
Oh, God.
and they got to fight the Metacrisis doctor.
And then, they have to
And
team
Toymaker.
up. Two of them have to. And Toymaker. Why not? Why not?
Because, listen,
And Wolf will
RTD,
be there. And Wolf will be there.
Wolf will
It's
be
going to be
there.
his last on-screen appearance. And he's going to be like, but everyone was better.
It's better with him.
Everybody was better with you.
That's a pretty heavy line, and Donna's mom reacts to it appropriately, if I remember right. But saying she was better with you is he's not wrong.
Yeah.
But it is kind of that's a keep those thoughts inside your head type line, and he just like
Right.
he was better with you. Old Donna sucks.
Right.
Well, old Donna didn't have to deal with just a whole lot of trauma condensed into a short period.
That's right.
Man, that turn left, that just ramped it up so much for me. It's like, oh, they're doing concentration camps. Okay. No, they're getting real heavy with Donna's story. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a like head jerk to like then jump into this stuff. You know, whatever.
You know that episode was actually heavier in my brain because I could have swore that they killed Wolf or whatever his name is.
Wilf, yeah.
Yeah, Wilf. Because he was trying to fight against the whatever fake Nazi people.
Oh.
That happened in my brain, and then when we rewatched it and it didn't happen, I was like, okay, well then how did that happen in my brain? But yeah.
Right. I mean, they could have definitely gone way darker with it, but you know. Oh man, Wilf, it's
I
gonna
don't know if they
Wilf.
could go much darker. Like her mom was practically catatonic, and the only thing she'd agree with was that Donna could have been a better daughter.
Yeah.
She is.
That's so dark.
She is, and I get her being upset, but in Journey's End, the doctor really like burns her.
Yes.
Says something about like maybe you could tell her that once in a while or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's just like, "You get out of my house." Yeah, he really burned her.
Yeah.
So okay,
The 10th Doctor hates moms. That's the thing. He just does not get along with moms at all.
they're super harsh to Jackie in that one moment where he's going around. He's got everybody like it.
Not you,
The TARDIS
Jackie.
was built to be piloted by 6, and going around. You do this and you do this, and then gets to Jackie. No, not you, Jackie.
No, Jackie.
Not you. It's like really kind of. It's funny. It's a comedic moment, but like pushes it slightly into very awkward, kind of mean-spirited territory.
Yeah.
And then the next shot, she's like looks at somebody randomly, ha ha ha, like it's this cheesy. Everybody's laughing around the TARDIS console,
Right.
but
It's Christmas.
like, that's-
We're all gathered around the fire.
it's like that was a little extra mean to Jackie. But
Yeah.
so here's a quick rundown of what episodes there was. Voyage of the. Oh wait, no. What was the first one with her in it? It was Voyage of the Damn. No, was it?
It was what? The something bride? Runaway bride?
Yeah.
Was that it?
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, when she
In
was going to get
between
married and it
1
was
and 2.
Christmas or something.
Right. Yeah, right. And then there was.
Yeah.
No, it would have been
In between 2 and 3.
2 and 3. Yeah.
Because 1 and 2 is when he was regenerating.
Yeah, because she was not going to be like a regular companion, and they thought it was. They're like, it's not going to work with her personality. But as we were saying earlier, that's kind of like what makes her so unique, and it is good they kind of rolled with it. Partners in Crime with the adipose. Fires of Pompeii is, I think, definitely a high point. I mean, Partners in Crime is fine. The little fat creatures are cute and memorable, but it's overall not like amazing. Basically, Donna didn't get tortured, so
If I could turn my fat into little cute people, I would get extra fat just so I could have extra little cute people.
Right.
right. It's called having children. I thought you'd get a crack out of that. Fires of Pompeii, I think, is a high point for this season for sure. Planet of the Ood. Donna gets upset about the Ood slave song, which it's upsetting. It's good. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah. It's one of the better
but-
Ood stories. Maybe one of the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't necessarily think it's a great episode, at least in terms of
Right.
like. It's fine. It's upper middle ground. Sontaran stratagem. The Sontaran stratagem and the Poison Sky. I did not like those episodes this time around. Not enough Donna abuse.
Not enough.
Not enough Donna abuse and too much soldiers shooting at mufflers to stop the gas. I feel like they revisit that. They do the same thing in one of these 2 episodes we just watched.
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
so
know if
stupid.
It went in the turn left one. That's where it was.
Oh yeah, because everything still happens. Right.
Right. That's so stupid to me. The Doctor's daughter, also
wow, yeah.
not great. There's kind of a string of not great ones in my opinion. Unicorn and the Wasp, I love that one.
That one's fun.
Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead, I think are ones that like still kind of get brought up fairly often. I think those are
Great.
kind of going to be classics. Oh
yeah. Mm-hmm. It was kind of the argument for the Stephen Moffat era, you know.
right. kind of gonna be classics. You know when they come out, 2008. I think they're classics now. If they,
They're probably,
if they're
yeah,
not.
that probably counts. Yeah.
Midnight. I liked Midnight. It's kind of different. It could be that Donna doesn't really play that much into it. It could be any companion, but I don't know. That's one of those stories where I like to think of how other doctors would kind of handle it. But 10 is very good in that.
It's the most believable with her though because she's a redhead. So she on a planet like that, I wouldn't want to go outside either if I was a redhead.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, for real.
Turn Left is just great.
Yeah.
And then these last two. We also did, though, a couple comics. I don't know. The comics, there's so little for Donna in the comics.
And they weren't all that great in terms of getting her voice down.
Right.
The audio dramas did better. And
Right.
even those were kind of hit and miss comparatively. But I mean, it was just fun to have more.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. How do you two? I've talked so much about these. How do you two? Now that we're done revisiting the Doctor Donna, how do you two feel about this era? And am I crazy for being like, this is the best RTD season?
It's okay.
Okay.
I think she's a great character. Kind of what I said earlier. She's a great character, and sometimes they write gold for her. But I think part of the fact that she's such a great character is partly in that I think Catherine Tate had a lot to do with developing that character, and they just wrote to it. And so she feels like a fully fleshed person,
Right.
that has these strange boundaries, right? That other people don't have, which makes her not feel like you could just, we'll just pull Rose out and plunk Clara in, she doesn't feel as interchangeable as some of the other companions do.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, they kind of give, especially depending what period they're traveling with the Doctor, they have little traits and stuff, but yeah, it's nothing like that. You could, most stories, unless it's specific to them, unless it's Clara getting killed by the crow thing or whatever was going on there, and or whatever, you're right, they are interchangeable. And not that you couldn't put them into episodes with Donna, but Donna in most of these episodes definitely brings something specific to usually the plot, really, even. Yeah, she's one of my favorite. She's definitely one of my favorite of the modern Who companions, but also one of the ones that if she was a real person, I'd probably least likely be inclined to hang out with.
She's a good counterpoint to the Doctor, and I think that's why they keep bringing her back. Even in the audio adventures, they did 2 box sets with Catherine Tate, and they're bringing her back for the 60th. When it comes to the David Tennant Doctor, there's just something special about her when it comes to his run.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's great revisiting his run. He's a fantastic Doctor. I'm hard pressed, really. It's not Jodie Whittaker's fault. It's terrible writing. I was about to say, I'm really any of the new Who Doctors. They're all great. I would be happy if any of them come back, and I would be happy if Jodie Whittaker came back. But unfortunately, the writing, I feel, is the worst during her era. Chibnall was not great, and but otherwise, I don't know. Moffat, at his worst, there was still lots of fun.
Right.
Anyway,
we're gonna have some
I don't know
new
where
Who
to
to
go
talk about
with
next
this.
month. So
I'm excited. There was a new trailer the other day. Oh, there was a new trailer the other day for the specials. That's when they kind of actually released the release date information. But the thing that stuck out most to me is in the there's a Disney Plus logo where the TARDIS flies through and it makes the D
Oh,
like in the
no.
Disney, and I was like,
Oh,
that
don't
feels
like that.
bad.
Yeah,
That feels
I don't
real
like
bad
that.
to me. Just the Disney logo with the TARDIS, like it's Tinkerbell, right? Like it's. I was like,
no.
I mean, on the one hand, it's like, well, you know, Disney's got some resources that they're going to be able to do things they could have never done with just, you know, BBC money. But,
The
that didn't feel good.
The exposure alone, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's true. But it looks great, though, man. In the trailers for the new ones, the production quality, whew, looks great.
So do they have to come here to like film, or do Disney just do it there?
No, I don't think Disney really. I mean, I'm sure they might have some kind of sway, but it's still on. You know, it's Bad Wolf, right? Like RTD's production company is what's handling it now, since he's
And it's still going to be aired on BBC.
yeah. So it's more.
The international distribution, or the
Yeah, it's more
American,
distribution.
at least.
And I'm sure a big like cash injection with that distribution deal. And I'm assuming, I could be wrong. I'm assuming I feel like the production companies maybe less beholden to BBC now, but I'm sure like it's not like they bought the property outright or anything. BBC still owns it, I think. I don't know. I'd have to revisit. I know we talked about it on the show when that initially was announced, but I'd have to revisit some of that information to recall the specifics.
Okay.
All I know is Doctor Who Disney logo feels bad, man. All right, well that's it for Grawlix podcast proper. So we're gonna bounce off the Grawlix podcast.
She was Grawlix with you. She was Grawlix with you.
Oh man, darn it, that's good. I can't think of any other like really good quotes other than "Not you, Jackie."
Oh, they've never seen anything like me.
What, Melanie?
I said, "I girl likes to touch you, baby."
Oh, yeah, that's classic.
Oi,
I'll just say
watch it, Grawlix.
I'll go. I know I've already done it, but I'll go back to you're not going to Grawlix with me.
Oh yeah.
When Donna's like, you're not going to mate with me. Okay. Grawlix is over. Wow, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
What else is amazing?
Oh, I do.
Sorry, it was kind of a sudden awkward segue out of like Grawlix podcast back into our night's routine.
Okay, so scientists recently fired the world's smallest particle accelerator for the first time. It's called the Nanophotonic Electron Accelerator, and it's about the size of a coin. The tech consists of a microchip that houses a tiny vacuum tube made of thousands of small pillars, and firing lasers at the pillars is what accelerates the electrons. So the main accelerator tube is 5 millimeters long, which is 54 million times smaller than the CERN's Long Hadron Collider, which I found interesting. And the reason that they built an accelerator that was so small is so they can harness the energy output, because it's pretty big. It's pretty substantial for something so small, to use in targeted medical treatments that hopefully will replace more dangerous forms of radiotherapy that are currently being used. So their dream is to have the particle accelerator attached to the end of an endoscope, and they could just like slide it in there, zap what they need to zap, and then be done. But before that happens, they're trying still to increase the energy output and maybe even shrinking it down a little smaller. So yeah, we have that to look forward to in the future.
Don't cross the streams though.
Yeah.
Right.
But if they can make it smaller than a coin, they can make them into bracelets, and I want a freaking bracelet particle accelerator. Just saying. Science, get on it.
Yeah, but to what end? Really?
Because it produces like 43 microkelvin watts of energy or some, craziness.
Well, yeah, but
You power your phone.
you're gonna get wrist burns or something. Well, no, you will lose it. You won't have it
Yeah.
for longer than a week
I will
tops.
fall into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Love this hand.
I bought a strap for my glasses so I don't lose my glasses, and I freaking lost the strap. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, Jesse, you got anything else you want to mention before we bounce out of here?
Just that, we had one comment in the chat, and really, what I want to tell them is that, where you can get the best opportunity for streaming your content. I think we're using it. I think
You're right. I think you're absolutely right, and that's a great point. I was just clicking over to pull up the little info sheet. It helps me. Yeah, you're right, Jesse. Whatever this spammy thing in the chat is offering, it doesn't have Jack, doesn't have Captain Jack on StreamYard, because StreamYard happens to be the easiest way to create content right in your browser. You can multi-stream to your social media platforms, host a weekly show with special guests, create webinars, record podcasts with local recordings, which we're doing right now, create videos, and more. So yeah, get started for free at StreamYard.com. We've been using it for 3 years. I don't need to read this copy, and I know it sounds not good when I do, but because we randomly will break into StreamYard talk anyway. Yeah, we've been using it for 3 years. Come on.
We've been promoting this stuff since before they asked us to promote this stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe a little
That's
tongue in
usually-
cheek with our badge of cheapness, but even then we were like, hey,
Oh, yeah, no,
this
we
is the
haven't.
place.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. We haven't been doing that. I don't remember that. It's not like StreamYard checks in on us. I've intentionally not clicked that graphic because I'm like, that probably wouldn't look nice to them. See, now this is an authentic Grawlix ad read. What just happened?
You're right. Yeah, yeah. Honesty,
We alluded to
transparency.
dumping on them. I mean, really, how can you trust people that aren't dishonest or transparent?
Right.
Yeah.
How can you trust people who aren't dishonest?
Wait, who
There's
aren't?
an
I didn't say that.
overwhelming amount of honesty there, and I just can't trust that.
Hey, Halloween's coming up, and I might have an album out. I don't know. I'm stressing about it, and it's not good. So I might not have an album out. I might. I don't know. I'm very frustrated about it. The last couple days for sure. But if I do, you should definitely check it out at superscience.xyz. That URL seemed like a good idea at the time, but everybody reacts weirdly when you're like .xyz, and they're like, "What?" 2023, man. I ain't shelling out $8,000 a year for a superscience.com or whatever they want for it.
It was a whole era.
Right, right.
When those dot whatevers came out, we were like, let's go. Get dot ninja.
Yep.
Those are expensive though. I don't even know why nobody.
I feel like some of them have caught on, and people are like it makes sense. Like, there's a lot of audio related things that are .fm and stuff like that. Some of them caught on, and people just don't really bat an eye at. But you tell somebody like .xyz, and they're just like, huh? What's weird about it? I don't know. It seems sciencey to me. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But even if I don't have a proper album release prepared, and I should, I will. I don't know how to release it. Essentially, a radio, like if EMG radio was still a thing, I'd definitely put it up there. But I have a cool Halloween thing that has also music and kind of a storyline, and it's very cool. But I don't really know how to release it. I'll probably just throw it up on my Super Science YouTube channel. Anyway, that's my way of saying I've got some Super Science something, and you should definitely check it out. Superscience.xyz.
I got this hammer. It's huge.
You do have. Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big ol' hammer.
Fortunately, I am mighty.
You are. Where?
Yeah.
Why? Where'd you get that?
I'm borrowing it for a martial arts thing.
Oh.
I joked with one of the black belts. Can I have a hammer like Thor? And they were like, "Yeah, you can have a hammer like Thor." And then they made one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks awesome. It looks great.
It's crazy, and I'm gonna have fun with it. But yeah, just don't joke with some people.
Right.
Hammer, you know, and then they'll be like, "Go do something with this."
What are you gonna? No, never mind. I was gonna say, what are you gonna do with that? What is that for?
I just had to bring that out at the end of the stream because all the cool stuff happens at the end of the stream.
You're right. I mean, honestly, this is when the show starts. Unfortunately, I always hit end stream as it starts, but this is when the show starts. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Have a good weekend. Have a good Friday if you can, and have a good Halloween. We won't talk to you before then, so maybe I'll put that thing I said or was talking about, the Super Science. Maybe I'll put it on here. I don't know. Oh, you know what I should do? Maybe Monday. I don't know. I can't guarantee that I will. I should stream maybe all of the Grawlix Halloween specials we've done, but mainly the House of Mysteries.
House of Mystery, yeah.
That something would be great to stream.
And then the game.
The game, exactly.
Yeah.
That could be fun. Stream and kind of chat. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll think about that. I always like to do something for Halloween, so.
Yeah.
All right. For real, I'm in the